All right, here we go with 6th grade Excel, lesson 28. We're going to look at adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators today. This is a biggie. This is tricky. You might have done it before, not too sure, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. A lot of kids have trouble with this. Here we have an addition of fractions problem, 1/2 plus 1/4. Here's how not to do this problem. We don't go 1 plus 1 is 1 and 2 plus 4 is 6. Excuse me, 2 and 2 plus 4 is 6. The answer is not 2 6. That's done wrong. I cannot add halves and fourths and get 6. Here's why. Here's what a half looks like. Draw the whole thing. And here's what a fourth looks like. And when I put those together, why in the world would that make sixths? It doesn't. This piece could be moved over to here and it would look like that, right? And then we have to figure out, well, what is that? The way that we do this is that we find a common denominator of 2 and 4. The way we find a common denominator is we take the larger of the two numbers, which is 4 in this case, the largest of the two denominators, and we skip count by that number, and we ask, does the other denominator go into that number? So as I skip count by 4s, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, I count by the 4s. Every number I say, does 2 go into that? So the first count of 4 is 4. Does 2 go into 4? Yes, it does. So my common denominator is going to be 4. All right, and we know why 1/4 is equal to 1/4. But how did 1/2 become 2/4? Well, you guys have done problems like this already, where it says 1/2 equals something over 4. And you have to figure out what that is, and you do 2 times 2 is 4, so 1 times 2 is 2. And that's how I got the 2/4. So two major things you need to understand. I need to have a denominator that's the same, and the way I find that is by skip counting with the larger denominator and asking if the smaller number goes into that one. Or really what I'm doing is I'm finding the least common multiple of the 2 and the 4, the least common multiple. That's what I'm finding. And the other thing that I have to know how to do is change these fractions into the equivalent fractions, which you've already learned how to do right here. So really, you already know how to do all this stuff. You just haven't put it together into one package. You know how to find least common multiple. You know how to find equivalent fractions. Now we're going to do that all in one problem, and it does get a little tricky for some kids. Here's another problem. 1/2 plus 1/3. Lots of words on here. I'm just basically going to explain what this is all saying to you in my own words. So, they've already got it done for you right here. I think what I'd rather do is actually just show you how I would do it step by step rather than going through what's already written there. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to move it off to the side, I am going to clear off the page, and now we are going to do 1/2 plus 1/3 step by step together. Okay, I cannot add thirds and halves, so I have to find a common denominator. I'm going to put equal signs right here, and I'm going to come up with equivalent fractions off to the side that have the same denominator here and here, so that I can just add the numerators together and then plot down that denominator, because that's how I add or subtract fractions. I just keep the denominator the same. But since these aren't the same, I can't do that right now. So remember how to do this. 2 steps. Number 1, I have to find the least common multiple between the denominators. Okay, the trick for that is to skip count with the larger of the two denominators. Skip count the larger denominator. So the largest between 2 and 3 is 3. Skip count the 3s. 3 is the first count of 3. Ask yourself, does the small number go into that? Does 2 go into 3 evenly? No, it doesn't. Skip count the next count of 3. 3, 6. Does 2 go into 6 evenly? Yes, it does. So that's going to be my common denominator. 6 and 6. I fill the 6's in for my denominators. Now, like you guys have done many, many times, you know how to find that missing number in equivalent fraction type of a problem. 2 to 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 3 is equal to 3. 3 times something is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So I have to multiply I must multiply, or I must divide the top and the bottom by the same number. So 1 times 2 is 2. Now I have 3 6 plus 2 6, which I easily can add together because I have a common denominator. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. I keep the 6 there, and the answer is 5/6. All right, convert the fractions to equivalent fractions with like denominators, then add or subtract the fractions. The first couple of problems are done for you. Again, I'm going to show you how to do them step by step rather than having them all done for you. Here's the first one. 2.5 plus 1/4. Okay, 2 and 4, not common denominators. I know you can see the answer right up there, but follow me through this so that you totally understand how to do these kinds of problems. Okay, first thing is I have to skip count through find the least common multiple of the denominators since they're not the same. Skip count with the biggest denominator. The biggest denominator is a 4. First count of 4 is 4. Does 2 go into 4? Yes, it does. So that's my common denominator. Okay, 1/2 is equal to how many fourths? 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 1/4 equals 1/4. Look, 1/4, 1/4. No duh, right? 4 times 1, 1 times 1. 1/4 stays the same. Now I'm going to add these together. 2/4 and 1/4 is equal to 3/4. Don't forget your whole number. 2 plus nothing here is equal to 2. 2 and 3/4, just like they show you up there. The next one, 9 and 1/2 minus 4 and 1/3. Again, 2 and 3 are not common denominators. Skip count the bigger of the two. 3, does 2 go into 3? No. 6, does 2 go into 6? Yes. So I'm going to put a 6 there, 6 there. 2 times 3 is 6, 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6, 1 times 2 is 2. This is a subtraction problem. 3 minus 2 is 1. We keep the denominator. 9 minus 4 is 5. 5 and 1/6, just like they did there. All right, let's get this mess off of here. And we're going to pull this back down. You guys do this one together with me. Get ready to write. We're going to do it together. We have 1 1/4 plus 2 1/3. 4 and 3 are denominators right now. They're not matching. Let's skip count the biggest of the two denominators, the 4. 4, does 3 go into 4? No. 8, does 3 go into 8 evenly? No. 12, does 3 go into 12 evenly? Yes. So we're going to use 12 as our common denominator. 4 times what is 12? 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 4, same idea, different number. 1 times 4 is 4. Add them together. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7/12. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. All right, hopefully you're getting this by now. Go ahead and try number 4 on your own. Pause the video. Turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, we don't have a common denominator. Skip count the biggest of the two. 8. The first count of 8 is 8. Does 4 go into 8? Yes, it does. Okay, 3/8 is equal to 3/8. Duh, easy. 1/4. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1/8. 2 minus nothing is 2. 2 and 1/8 is the answer. All right, here are some more problems. They've given you the problem in words. You're going to write it on your paper where it's blank and then solve it. Go ahead and do as many of these as you possibly can. If you are not able to read these little tiny words, then keep the video running until you see the problems. Then pause the video and solve them before you see me solve them. Okay, here are the problems. And we have to find common denominators on these. I'm going to go fast so we don't run out of time on the video. If I'm going too fast for you, just pause and watch it again. 2 and 5. 5's the biggest. First count of 5 is 5. Does 2 go into 5? No. Next count of 5 is 10. Does 2 go into 10? Yes. Put a 10 for both denominators. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 2 is 2. Subtraction problem. 5 minus 2 is 3. And we keep the denominator. 8 minus 4 is 4. 4 and 3/10. 1/4, 1/6. Skip count the biggest of the two, the 6. Does 4 go into 6? No. Next count of 6 is 12. Does 4 go into 12? Yes. So you're going to put 12 as the denominator. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2. This is an addition problem. 3 plus 2 is 5, 5/12. 3 and 9, skip count the 9. First count of 9 is 9. Does 3 go into 9? Yes, it does. So that's going to be my denominator. 1/9 is obviously equal to 1/9. 3 times 3 is 9, 1 times 3 is 3. Subtraction problem, 3 minus 1 is 2. 2/9, 2 minus 2 is 0. Do not write a 0 right there, just write 2/9 for your answer. Number 8, 3 and 5. Skip count the 5. First count of 5 is 5. Does 3 go into 5? No. Does 3 go into 10, the next count of 5? No. Next count of 5 is 15. Does 3 go into 15? Yes. So I'm going to use that as my denominator. 15. 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtraction problem. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4/15. 9 minus 3 is 6. 6 and 4/15. Woo! Okay, if that was tough for you, just rewind the video, watch it again.